Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live video podcast. It's your weekly dose of coffee, dogs, and curiosities, your alternative CDC. I'm your host, Chris Brandi, the Stunt Dog Guy, and today we're going to drink a little coffee while we chat with our special guest star, CHRISSY Joy. She's also going to wow us with a little bit of a performance with her movie star dog, the Good Beasley. And then we're going to discuss the curiosity of the day, which is, why do some dogs kick back their feet after a potty break? Now, I got to thank everyone for tuning in today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, Stunt Dog Show Productions. And like us on Facebook to stay informed about our future podcasts, live shows, travel adventures, and of course, training tips and more. And if you're watching right now, leave me a comment and let me know you're here and where you're watching from. I love interacting with you guys. Now, I'm excited to bring you our special midweek podcast with our second special guest. It's only the second special guest we've had since we started the podcast. Last Tuesday, I had my good friend and co-author, Larry Kay from Positively Woof on the podcast. And now I'd like to introduce you to a very talented lady. She has a bachelor in science in animal training and has been a professional dog trainer for nearly 6 years and has already accomplished more than most dream of doing. Let's welcome CHRISSY Joy and her stunt dog, the Good Beasley, everybody.
Hi. Hey, thank you so much for having us here. Beasley is dapper and ready for his interview.
Awesome. Well, what's up, Beasley?
What's up, bud?
Oh, man, he dressed up.
Yeah. He's always so handsome.
I feel like I should have wore a tie today. He's got his bow tie on. I like that. That's awesome. So how you doing today, CHRISSY?
We're doing great. We just spent most of our day filming to do some online learning and just keep providing people content during this time of this crazy quarantine.
I know it has been a little crazy. Hey, can you do me a favor, since some of my fans and friends that are watching right now might not really know who you are? Can you tell us just a little bit about yourself so everyone can kind of get a little intro on you?
Absolutely. Guys, hi. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us today. My name is CHRISSY Joy. I am a dog trainer through BFF Pet Services, but I also love to do live performances and set and TV work as well with dogs. So I used to do a lot of acting, and then I translated that right over to working dogs on set, which has been probably a dream of mine since I was about 9 years old. And now today we've had some pretty cool credits behind our name and experiences, and well, hopefully after COVID, we just keep growing.
I know.
We'll see.
And you have some really awesome accolades too. I mean, well, you're like a stunt dog national champion with Beasley. How did you get started training dogs? I mean, what inspired you to do it?
That's a great question. And I have to say it went back to when I was very young, about 10 or 11, and I actually started training horses. So I was getting paid under the table doing horse training, which is probably not something you'd expect to hear on a canine-related podcast, but I've been training horses for probably over 20 years at this point.
Wow.
I know. It's, you know.
How old were you? So you started like pretty much like at 1 year old then, right?
Right. Yeah, let's not do math on this show. This is not about.
So you've been doing it a long time, and
exactly, you know,
training horses to do specifically. Just you don't have to go into great detail, but just like what are some of the cool things you would teach the horses?
So everything from breaking a horse, which means you're getting them under saddle, to competitively riding eventing, which is where you're doing show jumping, dressage, and cross country. If you don't know what dressage is, but you're familiar with canine freestyle, it's very similar, but you are riding in a 1,000-pound animal. And then on the flip side, we had an entire semester surrounding, and this is where my passion really came to think about trick training, was teaching horses how to do tricks. And I was fascinated by that learning. You know, you spend so much time putting gear on your horse that you forget about kind of interacting with your horse from the ground. And so having this semester teaching your horse to bow or retrieving an item, or I actually had my own trick that I taught a horse, which I thought was pretty cool, which was busting the myth you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And so I took a mare who is very ornery, and I taught her to drink on command.
Nice.
So not only did I bust the myth, but it was also very useful for this horse that goes eventing. And if you think about traveling, not all horses like to drink sources of water away from their home. Gotcha. So it's a useful one for their health to have them drink on command. So that was a cool one.
That is cool. Well, wow. What prompted you to get into horse training? Was it something from your family or parents or friend? How did you get started with that?
That's a great question. I think it happened where I was, like I said, probably 9 or 10 when I first started taking lessons. And I've just always been fascinated with animals. And it never clicked in my head till about that age that I could ride a horse. Okay. So I went to my mom and I actually begged my mom to send me to boarding school where I could ride horses at 9 years old. And she was like, yeah, that's not happening. So why don't you go ahead and take some lessons? And then I just got bit by the bug from there. And, and we'll talk about this later. I know this is part of our talk today, but I had a lot of anxiety as a young child. And so I felt a lot of anxiety in school and social settings. And the only place I truly felt safe and kind of to be myself and blossom was working with animals. So I had my dogs at home that I loved to work. And then my horse and other horses I would ride that really allowed me to kind of just get in the zone and not feel some of that anxiety I was going through.
That's awesome. Well, you have a very special dog there behind you. The Good Beasley is also with us today, everybody. He's a pretty talented dog. In fact, is in a movie. I'm going to show the trailer here in a second. How did that come about, Chrissy? Getting involved with the movie and I'm just curious of how did you get contacted? How did you find out about it? And
how did it unfold? That's a great question because how do you get your dog who's from a rescue?
They want to know.
Big screen. So I adopted Beasley. He was one of 14 puppies in a garage, and I adopted him just by seeing his picture. I wish I had a really cool story, but I actually found him on Pet Finder. There's no Lassie found him at a farm, picked him out. None of that. I'm on Pet Finder.
God,
great. And I know. And he was the one out of the group that didn't jump up to see me. He just sort of sat back and was thinking. And I like thinking dogs that like to think. So I rescued him and we just got really involved in trick training. That was one of the first things that I knew I had a passion with. And so I naturally not only had him do obedience, but I went to BFF Pet Services to do trick training. We found out we really loved it. And so with that, I was like, well, you know what? I have a really well-trained dog and there's so many well-trained dogs around me. Why aren't production companies coming to us to find them? Or how do you get a dog on set? I was starting to think that I could now finally chase my dream of the wishbone, right? You know, the dog wishbone.
Yeah. Sure.
So what I did is I contacted my talent agencies who are human talent agencies. My sister was a talent agent for New York Model Management. That's the agency with Tyra Banks and all the big wigs. And so I contacted my talent agencies, which were at this point all over the country. And I said, where do you go if you need an animal? Because I don't know where you go. I knew of some agencies, but everything seemed very untouchable. How do you break that wall down?
Yeah.
And they said, oh yeah, we know these animal talent agencies, which we go to or we know of. And so I just did what every millennial does. I went to Facebook.
There you go.
So I contacted these people blindly, sent them a few, images of Beasley, videos of Beasley, and just started to get some small gigs here and there, test the water. And a lot of these agencies were really happy with his performance and my professionalism because, listen, it's a take two to tango. You don't drop your dog off at the door.
Yeah.
You have to be able to be savvy on set. And I think something that helped me there was, that I had worked on set before. So I kind of knew both worlds.
Right.
Yeah, so when it came to his movie, an agency had known about Beasley, and they got this really big script that was asking for 2 purebred dogs. This is LTD Animals, by the way. They're incredible. They provide, all sorts of animals to set. Right. They're so cool. So they had a few dogs in the running, but then when she read the script, she goes, I think Beasley would be your best fit for all of these wacky tricks you're going to need. And you probably won't need a puppeteer, which is your fake paws. So they said, hey, this is your dog. This is the dog you want. And when I read the script, I just couldn't stop smiling. I was like, oh, he could do this and more.
Right. That is awesome. Well, I'm very proud of you and congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm going to show the trailer and then we'll talk a little more. Okay, let's go ahead and show the trailer now. Super excited. You guys are going to really love this. It's absolutely adorable. So I'm going to pop it on the screen. Here we go.
Toby, I know my sister's here this weekend, but you and I know who's really in charge, okay? It's you.
This ordinary dog
I have everything under control.
has a big secret.
Agent Toby Barks, do you read me?
Hold your horses, lady.
Agent Barks, welcome to the party. The bad guys are getting smarter every day, so we've got to keep one step ahead of them.
I got this, no problem.
Toby?
Hi, guys.
Toby, are you talking?
No, yes. Look, I'm not just your dog. I'm a highly trained government agent. We're running out of time. Auntie B invented some real game-changing gadgets. Someone must be after her.
When things get rough,
You'll never get away with this, Lane.
I think I already have.
How are we going to save on TV?
Don't worry, kid. I have a plan.
Pause in the middle.
send in the top dog.
Agents, mount up.
Let's go.
We're tails deep in a government emergency here.
Be my talking dog!
Featuring the voice of John Lovitz
Thank you so much, everyone.
and Dean Cain.
Hey, Ted.
So you're hearing that too, right?
Agent Toby Barks. One more time, break it down.
It's go time.
Yeah.
That is awesome, Chrissy. I can't wait to watch it. Can you get it already? Can you watch it already? Is it available?
Yeah,
Yeah?
absolutely. It's Amazon Prime Video. You know, if you have a Fire Stick, you can definitely get it. You know, Netflix.
Yep.
It's everywhere.
On
So,
Netflix?
Lionsgate was
Netflix.
trying to.
I'm going to watch
Yes.
it. I'm going to watch
You
it.
should.
tonight.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And Lionsgate was supposed to do a theater release, but I think it actually worked out better that people can just have it live stream right to their home.
Right.
So it's been.
Absolutely. I mean, in this day and age, that's the way to go. Instantaneous. We can watch it. It's
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to go rent it. God, remember the days when you had to go to the video store and rent movies and wait in line.
I know. I
And
know.
A lot of colds. Got sick a lot because people were sick.
Oh, it's so true. And you show up,
They
you
didn't know
remember,
what sanitizer was.
and the new movies, you go and you'd immediately run to the section and find out they're all gone, and you just you'd ask them to check behind the counter. Like, those days are over.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was so cool. How long did it take to film? Like, how long were you on set?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We actually filmed for a full month, and it was night shoots about 98% of the time. So we would film from about 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. Monday through Friday.
Wow.
And not to add to it, but on the weekends, we would drive from Rhode Island, which is where we filmed, and we would do live shows over the weekend for whoever we are contracted with. So
Wow.
I was exhausted. Beasley did really well, but I was exhausted.
Well, very proud of you. That's so
Thank
awesome.
you.
What a feather in your cap right there. And hopefully that'll lead to, more opportunities for you as well, which that's what I always hope when I get a gig or an opportunity, that hopefully, you do the best job that you can. And the idea is hopefully, you'll get another opportunity down the road, or word of mouth will spread. So hopefully it really will open a lot of doors for you. What would you say some of the hardest behaviors or the hardest thing you had to train for the movie, or some of the cool things that you had to do?
I think that easily one of the hardest ones that I really tightened my grip on as far as a dog trainer was his eye line. I can't tell you how hard some of his eye line was in some of these very tight scenes where I physically even couldn't be in there.
Sure.
But I immediately saw what we were handling on set or where we were going to be the next day. And I really worked on look left, look right, look up, look down, and small increments. Like if you ever taught a dog to paint with a paintbrush and you use some of these tiny adjustments to get the head just right. That's a lot of eye line I had to do with Beasley, because most of the time I'm actually not in front of him.
Right.
And there were other circumstances where he's actually sitting facing away from me, and he had to keep looking away from me, and silent cue.
That's hard.
And then on a silent cue in his peripheral, he had to either look a certain way or silently turn around and go hit a mark somewhere else. So those small movements, although it might not look big on set, they are very challenging to do. I would say the other one, which I have to bring up because I'm really proud of us, is when he had to drive a car down the street on a car trailer, and he's in.
How did his paws reach the gas and?
I know, right? See, movie magic, right?
That's how it works.
It's so true. Thank God he didn't have to drive.
Secrets though, huh? You can't give away those.
Yeah, so it's definitely on a car trailer. But the hardest part was I'm hanging out the back of a moving van attached to the car trailer in the dark with about a 20-foot boom mic. And if you don't know what that is, everybody, that is where it captures your audio.
Kind of like this, but hanging.
Absolutely. And we, yes, 20 feet long, and we cut a slit in a giant tennis ball and put it on the end. And that became Beasley's gigantic eyeline touch stick. So I'm hanging out of the moving van, showing him where his head should be while the car is going down the street.
That's awesome.
That's
great. That's great.
Great challenges for a dog trainer.
And it's a lot of fun. I haven't done anything that extensive. I've done a couple commercials with my dogs, so I got a little bit of the taste of the movie magic, and seeing how things work. And it never fails. Like when I did the Animal Planet shoot for the Puppy Bowl, they always throw things in that wasn't in the script or wasn't planned. Your dog do this now? Wait a second, we're going to have everyone screaming at the top of their lungs, cheering, clapping, whistling behind them while they do the trick that you sent in that they wanted to see. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? So then you got to desensitize within seconds or minutes. You don't have a lot of time. So yeah.
It's true. I mean, you couldn't, when I got there on set, they had a puppeteer ready to go. And you saw it in the trailer where he grabs the bed and removes it and the bark cave exposes. It's just like that. They had a puppeteer they figure would just put the little fake paws in. And when Beasley went in there and was nailing it, they were like, can he do this? Wait, can he do that?
Yep,
all the way to the point where they were like, hey, so we're going to have the bad guy, who, by the way, is like 6'4", come up behind him and catch him in a net, catch my dog from behind in a net, and then pick him up and drag him off set.
Yeah, can you CGI that?
I know. It's kind of like, so I will spoil a little. If you watch the film, he absolutely did get caught, but then it's like a baby carry. So he's not, I was like, you can't drag him out of here. That's not going to work.
So they were flexible. And of course, keeping his safety in mind every step of the way, I would imagine. You got to keep these, these money-making ears right here. Right. Well, Beasley's a very talented boy, and so talented that besides just doing this movie and being a stunt dog, and you also did a special project, about a year ago, about anti-bullying, and you sent me in that video. What inspired, and I'm going to share it here in just a second, but what inspired you to put together an anti-bullying video? Is that something that you dealt with growing up as a child, or do you have a friend or family member that's dealt with it? I mean, what was the motivation?
That's a great question. That's actually, what got me out of my rut to be the dog trainer who I am and really follow my passion is that I was going through terrible anxiety and depression because of a good amount of it spurred from bullying. So, and this is just in your school, just regular school bullying. Yep. And if I told you what actually got me going, I mean, so many people go, really? But you don't know what you do to someone that affects them so deeply.
Oh yeah, and not just physically, but mentally too. And when I was a kid, I got physically bullied when I was really young for a while until I finally stood up for myself. And then finally, once I did, then the kid finally stopped, started leaving me alone. But not always does that happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's not always physical. It's a lot of times it's mental bullying too. And multiple people. Luckily, I was in an environment where it wasn't too over the top, but I know a lot of people have really suffered from it, and it's unfortunate. So I'm excited to share the video because maybe there's somebody out there right now that's going through some bullying right now. Who knows? Or
it's true.
With it. I think this video is very inspiring, and I'm very honored to share it with you.
Thank you. And I really want to share this to everybody, but before we do, I do want to say that social media is such a tool right now for everybody, and it can be used again for good or bad, and there's keyboard warriors, and I think the bullying, I mean, I just had a bully a couple weeks ago. It needs to stop. It's ridiculous, and it needs to stop. It's a weakness. And a lot of times when these bullies do step out, it's not so much about you as it is about their own insecurities and their own problems. So if anyone is being actively bullied out there, reach out to support around you, but also believe in yourself that it's not really about you.
Yeah.
You are not
your fault. And it's not your fault either.
No. And you can't control what people do. So if it means you have to step away from them or step away from social media, then do that. But anyway, this video is really about what I do performance-wise and why I do artwork through my performances, like using the hoop and dancing and things like that, is because I always try to tie a strong message of anti-bullying and self-esteem with my performances to leave you guys with feeling empowered. So thank you so much for sharing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's real and it's everywhere. No one is safe from it. Whether it's in person or on social media, bullying exists. The effects of bullying transcend the hurtful comments and the gossip and the attacks. We see it now more than ever today. It leads to anxiety, depression, self-doubt, and it leaves deep, nasty scars. Beasley is a rescue, but he has a lifelong debilitating disease. When we're both at our lowest, we've found strength in each other to get back on our feet. And although he's not the perfect dog to many, he puts his heart on the table to get the job done. He's my champion with or without the trophy. You know, if a dog's not affected by bullying, then you shouldn't be either. And it's with that mentality that bullying loses its power. Meanness is simply a sign of weakness. Your value isn't determined by others. Your worth is determined by you.
Get ready, 'cause here I come. Gonna move the mountain, gonna touch the sky, stand in the middle of a hurricane, looking right in the eye. Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Get ready, 'cause here I come. Get ready, 'cause here I come, moving so fast. Here I come, I'll make the world go round. Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing gonna push me around. I'll make the world go round.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Chrissy. That is super cool. And
Thank you.
It really has inspired some people here today. And Beasley is one talented pup. I'll say it again. So tell us, where did you go? Actually, I want everyone to know you actually self-produced that video. Before I get into Beasley here, you self-produced it. I think you did a fantastic job. Anything else you'd like to say about the video?
What really inspired me, and I want a lot of people to know this out there, is that, Beasley is not your typical, he cannot compare to the amazing dogs that you guys have, Chris and Bo and everybody out there hear me out. But I want everybody at home with their funky dog who maybe doesn't fly so high, but your dog can do so much. Don't underestimate what your own dog can do, whether they're 10, whether they're a little, round around the ribs, it's just enjoy them. That's what it's about. And I just feel like we all can thrive with our dogs. And I just always want to empower you guys to try more. But now I have Whitby too, which is so fun. So I'm getting to enjoy some of the cool things that you guys do too. And hopefully we can enjoy it together.
Well, thank you, Chrissy. Yeah, we're going to get to our curiosity of the day here in just a second, which is why do some dogs kick back their feet after a potty break? But before we get to the curiosity, I want you to think about that. If you want to take a guess, or what do you think they're doing there, start sending in the comments. I'll put them up on the screen. But while you guys are commenting, I want to ask just a little bit more about Beasley. Where did you find him? Obviously, you said you found him on Pet Finder, but tell me a little more about him. Like, how old is he now?
Sure.
What's his favorite thing to do? Does he have any funny personality traits? Or let's talk about Beasley a little bit.
That he is a 5-year-old rescue. I actually never really got a genetic test done on him. We got one done, but I'm not really happy with it. So I don't know what he is. Do you have any idea? I mean, I really
He's a mutt though, but those are the best kind, you know.
I don't know.
You know, and getting them from Pet Finder, that's awesome. We've adopted a few of our dogs through Pet Finder as well. And do you know
so true.
approximately how old is he right now?
He's 5.
Okay.
He's 5, and he has inflammatory bowel disease. So that plays a huge role into working on set, and anything that we do, you have to be very careful about what he eats and what he gets into.
Gotcha.
You know, that can make or break a day for him.
Right.
So he is on lifelong low dose prednisone because he does deal with IBD. And so you know, it makes a little bit of a challenge, but when he's on, he's really on. And his specialty, if you wanted to ask me what his specialty is, it's very finite tricks. So he can like.
You have a room to show a few of those?
Yeah. So let me see. I mean, I'll show you. First of all, I'll show you his eyeline trick because I'm really proud of that for the movie.
Right.
I find useful. Please. Good. Sit.
I'll put you on the big screen so everyone can see you a little bit better.
There we go. Look off. Watch. Look off. Say. Yes. Look G. G more. Say. Look G. Say.
Karos asked if you've considered having an embark test on Beasley.
I would love to do one of those, and you know what I'd love even more to do is that we have a lot of cool sponsors, like, you know, they give us free products. I would love to do a contest, and whoever's closest to this.
Yeah. But we've done that with our dogs. It's fun, and you definitely should. You know, it's really cool to look at them. And not just that, but also to see what their genetic health issues might have. You know, besides what you already know, maybe there's something else that you're not aware of that you might come across, you know.
Absolutely, like a certain gene or something that is more predisposed to a condition. You know, so I would love to do something like that just to learn more about him in general. He's a very unique mix. So I don't know what he is. Those ears throw me off. Yeah. But
anyway,
you know,
interrupt you. Let's see the trick. Let's see the tricks.
Sure. So I'm going to show you the look left, look right, which I use G and haw, and then obviously I do silent cues with that. And then I'll show you, let's see, I can do his very famous fake pee, which he loves to do. Okay. But let me show you a little bit for the next minute, because I think what's really interesting is that he's really good at remembering, like if you show him a general area where he needs to do something, he's on. So let me show you his left and right to start. Sit. Good. Look haw. Yes. Look G. More. G. More. Feel it. Look G. More. Say. Yes. Yeah. Nice. Good. So let's shake it up a little bit because I think that you guys would really like to see one of his fun tricks. So what I like to do when I work with my dog, and sorry, I know I'm crossing across the screen, is that when I am doing set work and you can't exactly have like a mark on the floor or a tape or anything, I might pull out a little button that I got for free from an expo. Yeah, and I actually will use this for him to go and do a certain mark, and then I remove it, obviously, because you can't have it on set, for him to do his final mark. So let me show you how this works so you can understand. So I put the button down. Beasley, go place. Yeah, find it. Nice. Good job. Sit. Nice. That's great. So I might do this 2 times. Come on, Beasley. Ready? Come. Yes. Come on. Beasley, go place. Very nice. Good. And then that last time, what I might do is actually remove it. Beasley, go place. Yes. And so he's developed kind of a nice pattern of where he should reside. Right. And this actually goes into great play when it comes to doing any kind of tricks on set that I can't, exactly be nearby or even in his eye line. And sometimes it looks a little unnatural when you're in his eye line. Right. So we have some fun little tricks that we may do. Go pee. Yes, very nice. So he really likes his go pee trick. And this is one that I actually filmed about, if you can believe it, in the dark, about 30 feet away from him. Wow. I was hiding and he had to run up to that fire hydrant and do the go pee, and I had never worked on it in that kind of capacity.
It was such a tight shot. Why'd you have to be so far away? I mean,
because I guess the other shot they picked the tight one, but if you watch the movie, you see him running down the street peeing on it, and then he turns the curb and runs down the street the other way. So I actually had to
get out of the way,
plant myself behind all of that. He pees on the fire hydrant, and then I send him down the street, so he doesn't even come to me. He runs away down the street, which is not easy to do for a dog who's food driven, who wants to kind of run to you.
Right. Yeah.
So and actually he just did this go pee on CBS's the Good Fight. So you ever watched The Good Wife? So he had to do this funny little action in front of some of the biggest actors that I've worked with, which is really exciting.
That's exciting.
It is definitely one of his favorite tricks.
Yeah, he's good at it too.
He loves it. So anyway, it's lots of little moves like this that we all put together, and of course, in very tight sets and hot sets and long days, you really got to protect your dog to make sure you keep them fresh for, it's not that he just does it one time here. Imagine he has to do it 50 times over, just as good as the first time he did it.
Take after take, right?
Yeah.
They'll get the shot just right.
Yes.
And sometimes the dogs do it perfect over and over, but they didn't get the shot right, the right angle, the lighting, or something odd, or who knows? It never fails, right? It's never a one take shot, It's very rare.
Very, very rarely it is. But it's fun because you get to be creative, and as long as you know how to rest your dog, like for you in shows, you rest them properly so that they're not exhausted when you do need them to be on.
Yeah, that is very true. And balancing that takes practice, I'm sure.
Yes.
Hey,
and lots of treats.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get to our curiosity, but first I just want to remind everybody that the offer still stands if you buy a book from us on our website, stuntdogshow.com. We're going to throw in, if you buy it within the next 48 hours, that is, we're going to throw in a copy of our training video, How to Make Your Dog a Neighborhood Star. Goes over 15 tricks that you can teach your dog from beginner, intermediate to advanced. And then you'll get a signed copy of the book too, all for $20 plus shipping and handling. Go to our website, stuntdogshow.com, to the store section of the page, and you can order your book now and get that free video offer. Again, that's only for the next 48 hours, so act fast. All right, we're going to get to our curiosity of the day, which is, why do some dogs pick up their feet after a potty break? So I used to think, let me tell you, I used to think it was because dogs are domesticated and they were just practicing good hygiene. Or they were just cleaning their feet so they don't track anything in the house. But I don't think that's the case. What do you think? Why are dogs doing it?
Beasley's offering the fake pee back here. So it's so cool because we know dogs have an immense amount of scent glands. They actually have like millions of scent glands.
Yes.
And it's not just all like, you assume, their nose must be the strongest place. You'd be surprised that a lot of them actually are on their feet. So they actually release pheromones when they do this kind of kicking back behavior, because when they use the bathroom, number 2, yes, that smells horrible, but they also kick back to leave those pheromones behind so that even when the dog poop has dried and become obsolete to the situation about territory, because this is what it's about, the pheromones live much longer than that, which allow for territory. It's usually your alpha dogs that tend to do this, or that they think they're alpha, will do more of this kickback behavior to put those pheromones out there. So it's fascinating. Who knew that?
It is fascinating, and it's you answered the question. I mean, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I did a little research just before we went on the air here, because I thought I had an idea, and it's exactly what you just said. Basically, their pheromones, they're basically their scent marking. Sometimes, just basically letting the next dog that's coming around, let them know that this is their territory, basically, And I was also, when I was looking online, I found that I heard that some people believe it's because their dog had been socialized with cats and they were copying the feline behavior, bearing the weight. And I was like, well, I know that's not true, because I had dogs that have never been around cats ever in their life, and they do it. So yeah, it has nothing to do with that.
and they say to not discourage it, because I know some people like see the grass getting kicked up and they go, stop it. But they say really don't discourage it. But in fact, you could probably capture it and call it a trick. So you might as well use it for something fun.
But what if poop's flying? Chrissy, what if the poop is,
you know what
if they're kicking it back, and that's the worst thing, when they flip too close and then they get it all over their feet, and then you got to clean it up.
Or you're like in direct line picking up the poop, and I've been literally wailed in the face with dirt and grass.
Never
and
fail.
You're just like, stop.
That's happened to me so many times. The dog's picking dirt up or leaves or whatever sticks that's around, Oh God. Yeah. We have a few dogs that do it. So well, that's a fun curiosity. And hopefully that answers the question for a lot of people that might be wondering, why is my dog kicking their feet back? Why are they doing that?
There you go. Simple as said. Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Chrissy. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this podcast up. We've got a little longer than we normally do, and it's okay though. It was great content. It was awesome having you on, talking about anti-bullying and seeing the trailer of your movie. You guys got to go see it. Agent Toby Barks. Watch it on Netflix tonight. If you do watch it, go back to this video and comment what you thought. We want to hear your thoughts on what you thought of Good Beasley's performance and Chrissy's awesome training of Good Beasley on the movie. So great job.
Thank you guys so much for having us. And we also have 3 more movies coming out that Beasley will be a part of, but also including Clifford the Big Red Dog is coming out later this year. And you'll see a bunch of dogs that we've kind of worked with too. So exciting things coming out, and feel free to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. It's the CHRISSY Joy.
I have, tell us.
Good Beasley.
Yeah,
we got
Facebook.com/thegoodbeasley. And then you also have your own page, CHRISSY Joy.
Yes.
So you can follow her and keep an eye on her next movie with her dog Beasley and stay in contact. So that'd be great.
Yeah, follow us, ask questions. We're just sharing our journey and obviously doing it through positivity and kind of just trying to empower people to get active with their dogs. So we'd love to watch your journey as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Chrissy. It was awesome to see you and get you on our podcast today. I appreciate you taking the time. In closing today, let us know what you would like to discuss next time. What topics would interest you most? We're going to be live this Thursday, 2:00 Pacific, 5:00 Eastern with Kara and Brian at the Indianapolis Zoo with a couple of their talented dogs. Again, we'll see you guys next time on Coffee, Dogs, and Curiosities. Have a great day, everyone.